everyone, it's Robin, the Artsy Bohemian, in my studio here in Los Angeles, California. So today we're going to be experimenting with some burlap and napkins. I just kind of had this idea. I don't know if it's been done before, but I thought, you know, how you kind of get bored with doing the same old thing. So I just thought we'd experiment, and you can experiment along with me if you want, or you can see how it turns out. We'll see. So this just is a recap. This is what we're working on. It's kind of a series that I started. I'll leave a link down below to show you how to make the file folder. So this is one file folder that's been cut, and two-thirds of it has been cut. The rest of it we used for a pocket and then decorated it. So I am wanting to make a journal to possibly fit in the back here, or maybe somehow have a flip that opens to a journal. We'll see how it goes. And then also we're going to be working on those really cool stacked envelopes that I've seen some YouTubers do. So let's start with some of the things I've gathered. If you want to work along with me, then I'd be happy to have you. So I found the original postcard. I didn't think I had it. It's right here. I looked through my stash. Years ago, oh, probably 20 years ago, my friend and I used to go to antique paper shows. And I was always on the lookout for certain, mostly like vintage women in either like belly dancing or Arabic. This, obviously, more Asian. And this is from Japan. And so I was thinking, if you guys are interested, for my next artsy boutique, I thought it would be fun to put together a kit with a copy of this image, and I might even make like a whole collage, because I found more old postcards those are copies that I have. So these are all old. These are from 1906. This one's an old one from Japan. This is really cool. I thought it just kind of matched the theme. So my thought is I was going to scan some images in and then have them be part of the kit. So that's one thing. Also, it will have that really old vintage wallpaper, along with other goodies that I have, have come along or put this together with. All right, so I gathered some more things that I think I might be using. I was contacted by Tsunami Rose. A lot of you know who she is. She has a Etsy store, and she sells really beautiful collage papers. So she contacted me and asked if I wanted to use some of her digitals, and I said sure. So I took a look at some, and I'm loving these really bright colors. I might use some of these. So these are little templates for envelopes. Seems the theme is going to be very bright florals with a vintage twist. So I cut some of these out. And then she had these gorgeous collage papers. So this is what it looks like on regular paper, white, and I printed it on coffee dyed paper. I really like this. So this is probably more along the lines of what I'll use, and I thought it would be pretty to either use as a book page or maybe the outside of a journal cover. Here's another one. And then this one's pretty cool too. They're collaged tags. There's about 5 of them. So those, I'll leave the link down below for her Etsy store. And then I also have some other things that I've collected over the years. So just if you want to craft along with me, gather your images and some papers and maybe some scraps, and let's do this. Also, these are, I'm thinking for the envelope thing, remember when we made these really cool, fun pocketbook thingies? Well, I made quite a few of them, and I have some left over, and I have an idea. So gather some envelopes and maybe even some junk mail. These have been coffee dyed. We might be using these to make some kind of interesting journal with envelope stacks on it. All right, so what my plan was for the burlap is, I have this burlap. It has images on it, and it's, you know, typical burlap that falls apart, really wide weave. I also have this burlap, which is from the hobby store, like Michael's, and it comes in a 12 by 12 sheet. So I think just because this will be a little bit cleaner, I'm going to use this. I'm also going to cut a swatch of this burlap, and we're going to collage napkins on it. I thought that because this is such a wide weave and has such an interesting texture, it might make for a very interesting book cover or a journal cover or something to use for our junk journals. So I'm going to cut some of this, and if you have just regular old burlap, let's just kind of experiment together. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, so we're going to be just winging it. And I'm just going to cut a fairly small swatch for space purposes. So you're going to need some napkins and some kind of brush. I'm using a foam brush and some matte medium or Mod Podge and a thing of water. So most of you who know how to do this, I'm just going to do a little quick review. I'm just wetting a little bit the edge here. These napkins usually come undone. Might even get some. Yeah, there we go. So if you get your fingers just a little bit wet, it's a little bit easier to pull off the backing. And then sometimes they even have another thin layer. Yeah, this one does. Can also take some low tack tape, like masking tape, and there you go. It's way easier to kind of pull apart. So my thought was, because this has a print on it, I might just take parts of the napkin and Mod Podge it, or, you know, put the matte medium on it that way. Just going to take my finger and wet some of it so it tears nicely. So it seems like you guys all liked the PDF that I gave you last week. Let me know if you made one. I know some of you had told me you'd made one of the bird's nests. If you're new to my channel and you're just seeing this for the first time, there is a download for a wire bird's nest, which, by the way, I'll probably have some of these for sale in my next artsy boutique. I showed you how to make one of these, and there's a PDF for free. You can also use a paintbrush, excuse me, to put the water on. I'm going to save all these little tiny bits to kind of add. I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. It might be a complete flop, I don't know. I thought these colors would be kind of pretty because they'll be a little bit muted down once I put the matte medium on and start gluing them down. Just take a few pieces here. So I think I was looking at something, I don't remember what it was, and you know how sometimes you think, oh, that looks like paper that's been Mod Podged or collaged onto fabric, or in this case, burlap. But then I look at it and I'm like, no, that's not what that is at all. And then I'm like, oh, that might be a kind of a cool thing to do. So that's kind of where I came up with it. These napkins, by the way, I got them really cheap at Joann's. They were on clearance. Probably, maybe a year ago. But most of you know that you can find napkins at Ross or Marshall's or any of the discount stores for discount. So I'm always, anytime I go into those stores, I just kind of look through the bins and see if there's anything I like. Tuesday Morning usually has napkins. Of course, the party stores. Okay, so let's kind of just start. Just dipping the matte medium in the container and then just gluing it down here. And then you'll just have to wait for it to dry. So I will be on top of doing the videos. I'm going to be making a new sample for a new class for the art summit that I told you guys about. And it's going to involve the hand-dyed velvets and cottons and some ribbons and trim. And hopefully they like the proposal so that we can have the class. It won't be until October of this year. And the proposal, my sample, is due in May, so I have to hurry. I kind of do that. I kind of work good under pressure, even though it kind of drives me nuts. I have 2 other journals that I'm going to propose, but I have a feeling they're going to like the new one. So that's kind of coming out kind of cute. This will be different. Then of course you could always add other things to it. Maybe beadwork or other pieces of fabric or embroidery. Just use your imagination. That's what I used to tell my daughter when she was bored. So by squishing it in there, it kind of will pick up the texture of the burlap. And burlap's so cheap. So this particular burlap, I believe I bought it several years ago from Canvas Corp. I don't even know if they're around anymore. I think they're a different company now. I had a wholesale license to buy in bulk because I was buying their little pouches, and then I would paint on them and aprons and stuff. So you want to have something underneath, obviously, like wax paper or parchment. I have the other piece of burlap under here, so I'm good. And I don't wet the brush, it's better just to use the full strength of the matte medium. If you guys are doing this, let me know if you have any other thoughts about what to put on here, to collage on here. Tissue paper would work too. Then you could paint over it maybe after it's dry. Just be a nice, fun experiment to see how it works here. I think you can get burlap in all different colors too, I think. Might even be kind of cool to do a layer of, once this is dry, to see how it looks, a layer of cheesecloth. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, and then I will be back. Okay, so after it dried, I didn't like it. So what I did was I added more muted colors, except for these splotches of white. So I'm going to let that dry and see how it comes out. And who knows? I mean, it's not that I'm going to definitely use this, but I think it might be a kind of a cool foundation for a journal cover. So I'll let you know how that looks when it's dry. And then I might even distress it some more with maybe some sanding and then a little bit of dye, you know, a brown dye. And then I thought it would be fun, as I had explained at some point when I was making the altered file folder, that I wanted to play around with the stacked envelopes. And I was trying to think of something different than what I've seen, which are super cute. I love all of the samples from other YouTubers that I've seen. But I thought it would be fun, and who knows, this may or may not work. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to be using these pockets that we've made and that you've seen in other tutorials. I just thought it would be kind of fun, and we're gonna do a little bit of a twist on it. It took me at least 2 hours to figure out the measurements of how to get them to graduate to smaller, and I kind of came up with the formula. So I am going to give you the formula down below. We're probably going to be using at least 5, maybe 6 envelopes. These aren't going to be the exact ones. These were just what I was playing with. And yeah, everyone will open. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of a neat project. And I hope you join me with this one as well. Okay, so I gathered the cardstock that I want to use for the envelopes, and we'll just take it from there. I'm going to make each one. Most of you know how to do the bigger one. We'll start with that and then move down, and I'll give you the measurements as I move down, as well as put them down below in the description box. Okay. So if you have these paper sheets that you can get that are 6 by 6, we're going to be using a 6 by 6. Otherwise, you'll have to cut one. Also, the 8 by 8. This is a Tim Holtz cardstock. And I am using double-sided. You don't have to, but I am using double-sided. So 6 by 6, 8 by 8, 10 by 10, and 12 by 12. I tried to make it easy. Originally, one of them is 8.5 by 8.5, so I'm going to have to futz with this one. But as far as the measurements. So let's go ahead and start. So I know that if I want the flap to be, the roses to be part of the flap, and this can always be changed, I am going to, let's see, I'm going to do it this way. This way. Let me look at this for a sec here. The flap is on the opposite side. So I'm going to do the first fold on the diagonal here because I want one of the flaps to be here. Normally I don't really plan what part of the paper is going to show, but I really like these roses because they pick up the roses that I'm using in the altar file folder. So that means I'm going to fold it here. And like I said, I know most of you that know how to do this, but just bear with me. You're going to want to watch the how I make the other measurements for the envelopes. So I'm folding it in half on the diagonal here. And you know, sometimes these papers really aren't precise, so you know, when you're folding it, just keep that in mind. Even though it says it's 12 by 12, sometimes some of them are just a little bit off. So this formula is going to be the same formula I use for every single envelope. And by the way, I will be putting the links down below for my original inspiration, which was from A Trace of Sparkle, and she was inspired by another gal, which I will find her and also put her link down below, as well as my cottage crafts. I think, was it my cottage crafts? No, it was somebody else. I'll have to put her down too. So you're going to take this triangle and you're going to do a score on both sides at 5 and 5. Let's see here. Hold on just a sec. So it's at 5 5/8. I thought that was what it was, but I had to double check. I'm going to score here and then score it on the other side. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use another, maybe like a stylus or a very blunt butter knife, maybe. And you're going to fold it in. This gets kind of bulky when you're using cardstock, but just use your bone folder. So it's going to be like this. Then you have to open it up. And I literally just had to look at my video from a few months ago to figure out what I did. And do this. So you're here. You open it up. And you fold these two inside here. And it's going to want to fold this way, but you're going to fold it the opposite way, like this. And then you're going to fold these flaps out. Just wanted to make sure the rose was the way I wanted it, so that these will flap out this way. And I am going to score it. You don't have to score it. It just makes it a little easier to fold. And I'm going to score it from the very tip of the fold here. And I'm just lining it up with one of the notches on the score board. I'm not measuring it out because it's too awkward. It's an awkward shape, so. And these are going to flip out this way. And if this is all new to you, it's super cool. Just bear with me. It's going to be, you're going to love this. It's a really cool project. It wasn't my idea. I had made these, and like I said, I will put the links down below for the people who inspired me to make these really cute flippy book thingies. I made several kind of stackable little journals with them at one point, I think for Halloween last year. Okay, so that's the process. And unfortunately, because this paper I think is kind of old, when I scored it, there's a little bit of a boo-boo there, so you can just hide that if that happens. And then you can always cover it with washi tape or something pretty. So there's one. So that's the measurements for that. Now we're going to work on the 10 by 10. And I wrote down the measurements for the 10 by 10 on this one. So I already cut out a piece of cardstock for that, and that's this. This is Tim Holtz as well. So I think I do it this way. This part's going to be showing on the outside, and this will be one of the flips. Or I can do it this way, and the flap will go out this way. So I think I'm going to do it this way. Again, it's the same process. Tip to tip. And then just kind of press it down and look at it to make sure the sides are even before you burnish it. And I'm just holding it here the whole time just to keep everything from moving too much. Okay, so now for this, the measurement to score is 4.5. 4.5 inches. So you're going to go 4.5 inches here. Flip it over and do 4.5 inches. And I'm going to be decorating these, so that's why I'm kind of keeping everything kind of plain, because I feel like it'd be fun to decorate them a little bit, even though I don't think you really should put too much because it'll be too bulky, but maybe with some lightweight laces and some wax seals, it'll be fun, I think, to decorate it that way. So now you're going to open this one and flip one here, and then flip the other one, and it's going to fold like this. And then you're going to flip these over like that. And I will score them again. Ooh, that one was crooked. You can see it's gonna start, we're gonna start stacking it here, but I'm gonna show you a trick to make it so that not everything doesn't flap open, which I'm hoping will work. I have no idea if it's gonna work or not, but we'll see. All right, so the next one is a 8x8 sheet, which is this one. Fold it in the center. And the measurements for the 8x8, I wrote it down on here, is 3. Actually, this is 8x8 and I have 8.5 by 8.5, so I'm going to have to tweak this a little. 8.5 by 8.5 was 3.75 or 3 3/4. I might still be able to do that on here. It might have to do a little bit less. So let's, maybe I'll try 3 5/8. Let's see if that works. I'm just going to do it lightly. Because the thing is you don't want these tips to overlap. So we'll see if this works. I'll do it lightly. Oh, I think that might work, yeah. Yeah, so 3 5/8 seems to work. It's a little bit farther, but that should work. I might even be able to do 3 3/4. Just experiment and let me know how it goes with this 8-inch square. I'm going to open it up, fold these in, fold it in half. I'm not going to be so hard on this because I don't want the color to come off. Put these over. And then the last one is the 6 by 6. Look at this one's all folded and worn because I was experimenting and trying to figure out how I could do this. Okay, so this is the 6 by 6. I want the roses to be on the outside. And on this one, it's 2 1/4 that you're going to score. Oh, and by the way, I did keep these little strips I had to cut off from the papers. So, actually, I didn't use this one. But then I looked at the dates, they're pretty old. So this one, with the big roses, I mean, it's possible you could still get it. I think scrapbookforless.com has discontinued paper and stuff. So this one is pink paisley, picture perfect, but it's from 2012, I believe. I saw that. Oh yeah, 2010. Really old. Okay, so continuing on. I'll fold this in. Oh no, that's not right. How did that happen? Let's see, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Oh, it's more like 3. Why did I write that down? Yeah, it's 3 inches, so redo. Is that right? Or actually 2 3/4. Pooey. Oh well, there's going to be an extra crease on there, so let's try that again. There, that's better. Really thick cardstock, so it doesn't burnish really well. All right, then open this up. This and this. And burnish it. Pretty. Now we have 4 of them, and they all are a little different, and I'm not sure if I'm going to kind of do them wonky like that. I think that looks kind of cute. And I was thinking, I don't like the way this one looks. I have these super tiny envelopes from My Porch Prints, so but they're really tiny, so I might use one of those and just enlarge it on my printer so it's not too small. But I think you get the gist. Looks kind of cute. I like all the colors. And so basically what you're going to do to see, because if you don't close these, they're going to flip open like this. So what you'll have to do is you're going to do whatever flap you want to show. Oh, I didn't do that right, did I? I'm going to have to do this like this. You will do this. So let me show you that again. This will close up the flap here. So all I did, it looked like this. And now I'm going to take the flap in the front and tuck it under here, and I'll probably wind up gluing that down. I'm still not sure because this is an experiment. And I'm just going to push this down because it's really, this was a hard one to burnish. And that'll flip down like that. And it might be that I add little magnets or some Velcro or something, or maybe even a button that's kind of heavy to kind of keep the flap down. Mostly for the front. It could be that the other little, if I put another little envelope on here, it will keep it down. So the same will go for these ones as well. that's going to go like that, and then that's going to flip over like that. I just, now that I have to bend all the cardstock, I just have to make sure that it's burnished down properly. And, you know, obviously if you have two-sided paper, this will be a little easier because it won't be as hard to burnish. So if I wanted this to like that, yeah, I'll go like that. Yeah, that'll be good. And then this one, I might figure something out to just kind of keep this open like this, because I kind of like the contrast. And obviously, like I said earlier, I will be burnishing all of, I will be decorating all of these too. So it's not like it's going to look like this when it's done. It's going to be decorated. But the colors are all muted in the same kind of palette as the file folder, and so I am excited. I hope you are too. Alright, so I went to go check on my video. I didn't think it was this long, so I have to stop at this point. But we have our envelopes made, and I made a little bit of a change. Instead of using this, I just wasn't liking the color. I chose a plain, I took a die that I have from Stampin' Up. It's an envelope die, and I made one out of parchment cardstock because I also found something that I made a long time ago, and I might do something similar to this envelope that I did to this, so this will be part of the next video. It's just stamping with some techniques for coloring. And my poor burlap, I'm calling it the ugly duckling. We will turn her into a princess. So she's not looking so great. I know there's potential here, but it's not looking great. But when I do put it against the color palette I have here, I think I like that. But definitely there's going to be some laces and maybe some doily pieces, and who knows, that will go on this. So at least it's stiff, and I can back it with some fabric if I wanted to, or maybe some cardstock. So thank you everybody for watching. I know I had something else to tell you. Oh, make sure you sign up for the art, oh gosh, what is it called? I'll put the link down below. It's the summits, the art summit that I'm going to be a part of for October of this year. So if you want to get in on the wait list, or the list period, to sign up for the classes, I don't know if they have like a cap that they put the classroom size on. So yeah, it's more than likely going to be a class on hand dyeing silk velvets and cottons and ribbons and trims, and making them into a journal, which I showed you a couple of videos back at the samples that I had. So I haven't made the actual proposal or the sample for the class. That's due in May, and so I'm hoping to get several of these videos done for my Tuesday tutorials so that I don't have to worry about them, and I'll just have them ready to go when I post for every Tuesday. So that's a lot of information, I know. So anyway, thank you again for coming by and watching these types of videos where you craft along with me and you see my thought process take a long time to, and so a lot of times we might not get something done, but get some of these ready to go so that when you watch next Tuesday we can decorate them. All right, I will see you next Tuesday.